Hi. Let's try it not muted. How about that? How about that? Let's go crazy. Hey everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful Monday. We're going to do some gentle productivity sauntering today. Okay. So, it's sort of the same idea as sprinting, but why run when you can walk? You know, why run when you can walk? That's my motto. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I have like boring, repetitive tasks to do in Photoshop. So I'm just gonna probably I'm gonna try to listen to Heated Rivalry. Okay, if the narrator for Heated Rivalry is different than the narrator from Game Changer, I may survive the sample. I may survive the sample. But if not, wait, what's going on with whatever? Whatever. Who cares what's going on with my glasses? So if the narrator is different, I may survive. But Game Changer, that's quite honestly some of the worst narration I've ever heard in my entire life. The voice that the narrator chose for one of the main characters, not only do I think it not fit that main character at all, but was so, I just don't think it should exist in any book ever. Like I can't think of a use case for that voice where it would be good. So anyway, so yeah, I will try Heated Rivalry. We'll see. If that doesn't work, can you believe I have nothing checked out on Libby? Like nothing. So, I don't know. I don't know what. Oh no, I do have something checked out. The audiobook for The Bewitching, which I have not started, is due in 4 hours. So, that's probably not going to work. So, we'll see. We'll see what I do. All right. So, Jack is ready to saunter, got their sauntering slippers on, ready to go gently. I support all of this. I support all of this. I hope you do actually read today, but if you don't, oh well, you know? Oh well. This is a goal getter stream only insofar as it counts towards my total, not because I'm trying to achieve goals during this stream. So, how are things going with everyone? I hope you're going well. And what we're gonna do is, 15 after the hour, we're gonna sprint for 45 minutes until the top of the hour. And then we'll check in and then we'll decide if we want to do longer sprint, shorter sprint. I don't know what else we would do. React to videos. What do people play Silent Hill F? We'll figure it out. We may do bad craps. We'll just see how we're all feeling. Huh. Why do I not have Rose's most recent chat in my chat box? What's going on? Okay, so Rose is hoping for my sake that the narrator is different, but Rose read it with her eyeballs, so she can't help. She can't say for sure. I suppose I could look it up, like it. Imagine, imagine if I looked it up. Imagine. All right, where did I hide it from myself? Can't find it. There it is. Okay, so the narrator for Heated Rivalry is Tor Thom, which is the same, or Tor Tom, which is the same which is the same narrator as the first one. So, anyway, pray for me. Yeah. Yeah. It's too much. It's too much to ask of a person, you know? It's too much. Yeah. Yeah. Not the news that we wanted on this fine Monday. Not the not the news that we wanted on this fine Monday. No. R.I.P. me. R.I.P. me. Okay, okay, okay. Let's think it through. I could read anything I own. I could listen to anything I own on Audible. If so, my concern is the voice that the narrator chose for Kip in Game Changer was like, it was this New York accent, but it was like, it made him sound like a big dumb idiot. I guess there was something. Whoa, camera agrees. The camera agrees. The camera's like, yes, lean in, tell us all about it. And so that my only concern is because he was trying to do a New York accent for that character and was not doing a New York accent for the Scott character. Okay, so even though they're both lifetime New Yorkers, but the Kip character is a lifetime like New York City resident, and then the Scott character is a lifetime like upstate New York resident. And I don't know if the narrator was like trying to make some kind of big distinction or whatever, but like the specific New York accent that they used for Kip was just real heinous. So yeah. So my concern is that because there would presumably be an accent used for Ilya's character, that it will also be heinous. So that's my concern. I would not be able. I would not be able to handle it. I would not be able to handle it. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I do have. Let's see. We have 7 minutes. So I have. We're gonna sprint on the quarter hour. So I could just go to my Audible catalog. And let's take a look here. Let's take a look. Because anything in Audible, obviously, I don't have any waiting. But because I'm like so picky and most books give me the ick, although I do think I'm coming out of that, I do. All right, so let's see. I have Snake Eater by T. Kingfisher. With only a few dollars to her name and her beloved dog Copper by her side, Selena flees her past in the city to claim her late aunt's house in the desert town of Quartz Creek. The scorpions and spiders are better than what she left behind. I have Anathema. Why do I have Anathema? That's crazy behavior. Okay. Oh, you know what? For some reason, let me see about A Darkness So Sweet. Hold on. Maybe that's the answer. Maybe I'll get lucky in the Audible sale. Let's do a little searchy search. Okay, so A Darkness So Sweet is $5.99. That's not terrible. I'm trying to finish Darkness So Sweet, I've been struggling with it. I don't think it's necessarily really 100% the book's fault. I just don't. I have been not connecting to either character. So A Darkness So Sweet is a possibility because I'm about a third or 40% of the way through that book. Maybe I could finish it. What? Yeah, that's less than a cheap credit. So I think it's totally something I'm willing to spend money on. Let me go in my wish list and look at it. Let's see what I've got. Under $5. Under $5, I have American Delirium by Bettina Gonzalez, The Hike by Drew McGarry, The Women of Brewster Place by Gloria Naylor, Cold Enough for Snow by Jessica Ah, and Paradise by Fernanda Melchor. And then just over $5, I have Clockwork Boys at $5.80. But I'm pretty much anything. Things that are on my Audible wish list are not on my Audible wish list because I'm like dying to have them. It's more just when there isn't an audiobook available at the library, I throw it on the Audible wish list in case it's on sale at the same time as I kind of want to read it and Audible notifies me about it, you know? Oh, King of Wrath. Okay, if I want more, all right, let's see. Okay, so Jack says, if you want more hockey romance, suggest Game Misconduct, book 1 of the Penalty Box series. I've been having lots of fun. Okay, let's see if that's on Hoopla as an audiobook. And if not, perhaps, I mean, this could all be moot. What if I just love the narration this time around? What do we think the odds of that happening are? All right, so Game Misconduct. Oh, heck yeah. It's on Hoopla, friends. Oh my gosh, are we going to get out of this for $0 hairs? All right, borrowing. Okay, so in the off chance that I need it, we shall, it is there for me. It is there for me. Oh my gosh, how exciting. How exciting. Okay, I'll at the end of the sprint, I'll be able to tell you what my thoughts on the Heated Rivalry audiobook are. But, and or possibly my thoughts on Game Misconduct and how I'm enjoying it and how it compares to Game Changer. This is the best price. Zero. Is that what's the French? Zero? Zero? Oh. Calm. Be calm. Sometimes I'm just adjusting in my seat, you know? You don't have to be so excitable all the time. Yeah, I took a semester of French in college because I was like, maybe I could be into French. Mm-mm. 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 I could not master the pronunciation whatsoever. I'm pretty terrible with language in general. I never got anywhere good with any language I studied, but I think French was my most dismal performance for sure. Yeah. I support you typing en français, Franglish. Your keyboard is gonna give us Franglish. Okay, let's go. Let's sprint until the top of the hour, besties. And I have prepared a lo-fi cozy fireplace video for us for the duration of the sprints.
Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Heated Rivalry by Rachel Reed, narrated by Tortom. Prologue, October 2016, Montreal. Shane Hollander was as close to losing it as he ever allowed himself to get. He'd endured 2 periods in 12 minutes of one of the most frustrating hockey games he'd ever played. It should have been a glorious win at home for his Montreal Voyageurs against their arch-rivals, the Boston Bears. Instead, it had been a grueling humiliation, and the score stood at 4-1 for Boston, with less than 8 minutes left on the clock. Shane had had no less than 5 beautiful scoring chances. He'd taken shots that should never have missed, but they had, and the Bears had capitalized on the Voyageurs' mistakes. One man had capitalized more than anyone: the most hated man in Montreal, Ilya Rozanov. The near-century-old rivalry between the Montreal and Boston NHL teams had, over the past 6 seasons, become personified by Hollander and Rozanov. Their intense animosity was clear even to the fans in the farthest, cheapest seats. Hollander bent at the face-off circle now, facing Rozanov as the referee prepared to drop the puck after the Russians' second goal of the game. Having a good night, Rozanov asked cheerfully. His hazel eyes sparkled the way they always did when he was talking shit. "Fuck you," Hollander growled. "Still time for a hat trick, I think." Rozanov mused, his English barely comprehensible between his thick accent and his mouthguard. "Should I do it now or wait until last minute? More exciting that way, yes." Hollander gritted his teeth around his own mouthguard and didn't answer. "Shut up, Rozanov," the referee said. "Last warning." Rozanov stopped talking, but he managed to find an even more effective way of getting under Hollander's skin. He winked, and then he won the face-off. Fuck. Jean-Jacques Boiseau, the Voyageurs' giant Haitian-Canadian defenseman, hurled his
Hello, friends. Welcome back to the sprints, the saunters. We have concluded our first saunter. I hope everyone had a successful saunter. What did I do? I acquired peanut butter toast, and I have an iced coffee now. So I have caffeine. I listened to, we all listened to the audiobook for Heated Rivalry, all of us together. And yeah, the voices were fine. I actually had more of a problem with um, the teeth talk. Like Shane was thinking a lot about Ilya's teeth when they were like making out and other things, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I can do it. I don't really like teeth, like hearing about them, thinking about them. So I'm a little concerned that I can maybe not like if I was reading with my eyeballs, I would just skim over stuff like that. But like listening, you cannot. You cannot. So I think we may pivot to something else. I support this. You should have a hot chocolate. Everyone should have a hot chocolate. Hot chocolate for all. Hot chocolate for all. Rose has read 40 pages of Ken Liu's All That We See or Seem. Congratulations, Rose, on not just reading, but reading a lot. Reading a lot. He did think about teeth now that you say that. Yeah. Yeah, he thinks about teeth. Just in the prologue, there were 2 ruminations on teeth during sex, and I was like, I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can. So, yeah. It's not that I can never, but I will say I can rarely. Because I can get the ick so quickly from such small things. Like just now, it was from just thinking about teeth while being in a sexual situation. There's a lot of vocabulary that will immediately kill it for me. So like any book by a British author that has a sex scene in it, I'm almost certainly not going to be able to enjoy. There's going to be some kind of vocab that's going to bother me, just because of the differences in British and American slang and what's kind of tolerated in terms of words for sex parts. And then so yeah, I get the ick pretty easily. It does make me cringe, and it's a me problem. I consider it to be a me problem, but so I just don't listen to many romance novels on audio. But I support people who do, especially if you're like a strong enough soldier to make it through teeth talk twice in one sexual encounter. Yeah. If you're strong enough for that, then you should probably run for president of whatever country you're from. If it has a president, you should run for it. Unless it's one of those countries where there's a president and a prime minister and the president's kind of lame and the prime minister is better, then you should run for prime minister. Okay. So, whoa. What's going on today? What's going on? Are you okay? Okay, so Decision time, pals. Decision time. In 4 minutes, it'll be 10 after 3 my time. What do you think about adding 5 minutes to our sprint and doing 50 minutes? So we would start at 10 after and go to the top of the hour. How are we feeling? Are we feeling strong? Not sprinting, sauntering. So strength is not really an issue. What would we say? Not strong if you're sauntering. Are we feeling grounded, peaceful? Woo! All right, Jack's down. Love that. Love that. Okay. I'm going to zoom you out because you need to calm down. And then now why? There we go. Okie dokie. 50 sounds good. Love it. Love it. 50 sounds good. Okay. So at 10 after, or like as close to 10 after as I recall. Okay. Okay. Well, maybe we won't go for 55 next time, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe we'll be stronger than we imagine. Or should we wait a minute. Or should we be chaotic and do something like roll the ADHD timer and let it decide? What do you think? Let me know if you want to choose chaos or not. And if so, I'll roll it on the craft desk so that you can see it roll. Okay. Jack's voting for chaos. Rose, what do you think? Chaos or 50 minutes? The worst case scenario would be 60. This is as mean as the dice can get. Okay? This is as kind and silly as the dice could be right here. So you need this ADHD timer. I'll put a link in the chat. Okay, I think we're gonna go chaos. I think we're gonna go chaos. We're gonna go chaos. Let's do it. Let's do it. We're gonna get. That's okay. That's okay, Rose. You're allowed to do things like make tea during gentle productivity sauntering. Okay. All right. So let's go to the craft desk and roll the dice. Oop. Well, that was not helpful. Let me think about how I want to do this. Okay. I want to get it to kind of at least do like a few, but I don't think it's going to work. So we're going to do this instead. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we just need Hey Google, pick a number between 1 and 4. 3. All right. 50 minutes it is. Well, I'm glad we took the time to do that because we got the same result as if we had it. It's 3:10. We're going to saunter for 50 minutes and we'll come back on the hour. Hello, welcome back. How was your saunter? I got my grids made in Photoshop that I wanted to get done. So my saunter was successful. But basically, what I was thinking for my notebook. Oh, just kidding. So what I was thinking for my notebook is that I'd rather that it might be nice to have a 1/4 inch border around a grid that's kind of in the center of each half of the page. So if you imagine like a gridded rectangle on the left and a gridded rectangle on the right instead of a grid that goes all the way across both pages, it's not like a big change or anything, but it, it did require me to do some editing. But I did take the time to like really zoom in and meticulously place every single line. So the grid's literally perfect this time, which is fine. The grid last time wasn't like bad or anything. So much as just, it can be improved. It can be improved. Welcome, Jenny. So glad you're here. Jenny's got some work done for her coworker who's off today and now back to working on her own things. I hope your things go smoothly and quickly. Rose drank some tea and did no reading. Perfect. That's the perfect way to saunter. You need to drink tea while you're sauntering, You gotta. All right. So, for our last hour, do we want to saunter again or do we want to pivot to something else and do like, I don't know, an hour of bad crafts or something like that? I'm good with either because I still have more photoshopping to be done. So there's no wrong answer. It's just what are the vibes? What are we feeling? What do we want to do? If we were to saunter, I would say, okay, Jenny's not too busy at work. Jack finished the December budget, now setting up the December calendar. Oh my gosh, so much productivity happening. Okay, Jenny says yay crafting, so perhaps we will be doing that. If you want to get your votes in, I'm good for either another saunter or to do crafting and chit chatting and until the next hour, and then we can head off to whatever we do when we're not sauntering together. Do we even exist when we're not sauntering together? Questions that should be studied by science. All right, so we've got a craft vote from Jack and a craft vote from Rose. So I feel like we may be moving into bad crafts. Okay, so now with bad crafts, what's the vibes? Should we work on notebooks? Should we work on digital design for notebook covers? Like, what are the thoughts, What are the vibes? Jenny says, I'm down with crafting. Will help me combat my Jujutsu Kaisen brain rot since the movie yesterday. I saw Jujutsu Kaisen 0 in the theater. Because at the time I had AMC A-list and I would just see like I would just do anything, like watch anything, And I had a good time. But I don't think that's the same people as in the manga. Or it's their teachers or something. I think that was like a prequel. I'm sure Jenny knows the answer. Like the leather cover? Well, the leather cover probably will be its own stream, because what I want to do with that is I want to kind of do it all in one, just like one shot. And I don't think an hour is enough time. So I don't know about the leather cover. However, if you'd like to see me make like a book, I could make a O-wire spiral notebook with chipboard covers, and we could cover the chipboard covers if you want to, because one of the things that I did recently when I was doing some organizing around the house is uncover. Oh yeah, Jack, I forgot you are also in the fandom. So many people available to answer my question. It's wonderful. I found my cinch machine from We Are Wow, I found my cinch machine from We Are Memory Keepers, and what that is a 2-1 O wire, a 2-1 pitch O wire binder. Okay, so it's the students the year ahead of the kids in the manga. Okay. In the manga. I thought it was something like it was maybe their teachers or something. I couldn't remember, but I felt like those students were in it somehow, but they weren't like the focus of it. So we could do a spiral book. We could just make more notebooks. Let's think. What would be like a funny notebook to make? Let's do this. Okay, let me go in. First of all, let me go resize Photoshop. Or maybe Photoshop's the correct size. Let's see if Photoshop is the correct size. Photoshop's close enough to the correct size. So I would say we could go ahead and do a notebook design. And let's just start there. All right, let's think. What kind of a notebook should we make? I think a journal. We'll make it like as a journal. But paper-wise, I'm just trying to pick some paper. Some digital paper. I'm trying to think of something that will fit the cozy vibes that we have going on today. Or sorry, I'm just like literally can't find where I put my digital paper. Okay, so in the digital paper, I have a perfect idea. Tanya Cart, that's who I need. Okay. We'll make a book. We'll make a reading journal. I'm gonna load in some reading art. And we'll make something pretty. A book is a dream you hold in your hand. So we'll just open up a bunch of stuff and we'll do it as a spiral. It's not a spiral, it's an O wire. We'll do it as an O wire. Yeah, and so basically we'll just put the gridded paper in it. But that'll be NBD. Okay. All right, so let's look down here and I'll show you what we've got. Okay, so we've got just one more chapter, which would make a very cute cover. Okay, so we're making more notebooks. All right, we're gonna do a reading journal. If you're reading Robin Hobb, it's like a nightmare for sure. It's definitely a nightmare. All right, calendar done. Gonna play in Canva to make my winter personal curriculum. Love that. Love that. Okay. All right, so we've got this as a background paper. This is the same thing, just in a different skin tone. We've got this as a background paper, this as a background paper, this as a background paper, and this is a background paper. Now this artist does seamless designs, so we can make these bigger or smaller. When I say bigger or smaller, I mean like we can make the pattern tighter, so like, you know, if we wanted to have more books, we could, you know, stick them together to make more books. We've got my weekend is booked. We've got the sparkles, the green, and then the book is a dream you hold in your hand. We've got I'm reading, which I think we should put this on the back cover. This is the back cover, right? I'm reading. This is the back cover. Absolutely. And then book, coffee, repeat. Okay, so we've got our back cover. So I'm going to take the I'm reading and I'm going to put it up at the top. This is currently would work as a front cover because they have very similar color palettes. So let's look at the other things that are in the pinkish. All right, that's pretty much it. So it's either that or we can make our own, because what we can do is we can take book, coffee, repeat. Like if we wanted book, coffee, repeat to be on the front cover, we could take it and layer it over this. And then that would give similar vibes. So we may experiment with that. All right. So I'm gonna just take this and drag it onto here. Oh, okay. We're dealing with quite a big size difference. So I'm just gonna resize this one to, I'm just gonna make it like half the size, and then we can, because we can always make it bigger. All right, so we got book, coffee, repeat. Now let's see how it was here. Do we like book, coffee, repeat more, or just one more chapter? Because I really feel like just one more chapter is perhaps correct. Perhaps. Okay. Let's go with just one more chapter as the front cover, and I'm reading as the back cover. And then for the inside, I like this, the books with the fairy lights. I think that's quite pretty. I feel like I'm missing some sheets. Hold on a second. I just really don't. Oh, okay, that makes sense. I was like, why do I feel like I have designs from this that I'm not seeing? It's because I have two collections from this artist that blend together. So I'm just gonna open up. I also have I'm a Bookaholic and I Regret Nothing. Born to Read. What else we got? Reading is my therapy. The brain just filled with books. Okay, let's not get in the weeds. Let's just make this cover. All right, so I'm gonna make, just so that I can keep using the grid paper that I already made, we'll make something that's, well, we have a couple choices. We can make either 8.5 by 11 or 5.5 by 8.5. We could also do something like 5.5 by 11 and make it long, or 4.5 by 11 and make it long and skinny. Let's do 5.5 by 8.5. But a 5.5 by 8.5 page is going to have a larger cover than that. So we're going to have to make our cover. So I like to make my cover 1/4 inch bigger on all the sides that are not bound. So in this case, if we're going to make it 5.5 wide by 8.5 long, then I would make it 5 3/4 wide by 9 long. So we're going to go ahead and resize this sheet to be that size. So 5.75 inches by 9 inches, and that'll give me 1/4 inch on the top, the right side, and the bottom. All right, now I'm gonna drop her in, but before I do that, I'm gonna resize so that it's the width that I'm using, which is 5 3/4. And then we'll talk about how we're gonna do the rest of the background. All right. Okay, so I'm dropping her over here. And now what I want to do is I want to try and figure out how I can get this marbling elsewhere. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to just click and see if there's any really solid chunk of this paper, and there's not really. So we're going to do it the hard way. Which is that I'm going to copy chunks of this design. So I'm just going to layer via copy. Anywhere where I don't have that marbling, or sorry, where I don't have that dark pink. Okay. All right, so once I've done that, what I can do is I can then merge these 2 layers. And then what that's going to allow me to do is copy a bigger chunk. And then I can just move that. And then just so it doesn't start looking weird, sometimes I will rotate the layers so they don't look like a stack. And then I just merge them back into each other. And then we're going to take another chunk. Again, layer via copy. Perfect. And then this one, I'm going to, before I merge it, I'm going to duplicate it. All right, because we now have to work on the bottom. We have to do the same thing down here as we did up top. All right. Okay. All right. So now that we've got this, all right. Okay, perfect. So we now have the correct size. The only question is, all right, but I actually need to change the canvas size because I need to add an inch all the way around, because I need to be able to wrap this around my chipboard that I'm going to use. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm just adding 2 inches to the canvas, and the canvas is the, nope, that didn't work the way that I wanted it to. We'll just make a new blank file. I'm going to make one that's, if my thing is, my piece is essentially 6 by 9. So I'm going to make a sheet that I can put this on, no problem. Okay, so what I'm going to do is add 4 inches. So I'm going to make it 10 by 13. And that's just going to be so I have plenty of room. And I'm just going to move this over here. Okay, so we have, everything's the correct size. Like, this is the actual correct size to be the front cover. Okay. But we need to, what, the aspect ratio just does not look right to me. Oh, right, because I need to trim it. That's why I need to trim it. Okay, I was like, why does it look so long and skinny? That's because it is long and skinny. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so this is the actual size of the cover. So now what we need to do is we need to fill this inch border all the way around it with this same pink paper. It is not really going to show. It's going to wrap around the edges of the chipboard and get glued to the underside of the chipboard and then get mostly covered by our liner paper. However, the thing is that we do need it to be the same color as everything else, just because you don't want it to be like white on your edges. Like you want the edges of your chipboard to be pretty much the same color as the rest of your piece. Okay. All right, let me just save this before I get too far in. I'm going to save it in my Jack's notebook folder. Reading spiral journal. Reading journal. I'm just going to say 6 by 9. Okay. Front cover. Okay. All right, so now I need to merge everybody together, and then we're going to do the sides. We just are going to have to take the long skinny bits from the sides and fill out to that edge, which is, you know, not as easy because we don't have as much material to work with, but we will do our best. Okay, so I grabbed some of that pink, which is really not the end of the world because, again, like I said, this isn't really gonna show, but I am still gonna flip the layer so that it's not really so visible. And then I'm gonna duplicate this layer. And then I'm gonna flip it again. And then put that underneath that, and there we go. Okay, all right, so those are now all good. So we just need to do the same thing with the other side. And this time we can get farther away from that pink. So it's not involved at all. All right. Okay, so now it's the correct size. Okay. So we just need to do the back, and I'm thinking maybe we can pull the I'm reading. I think it's somewhere just by itself in this collection. Yeah, it's right here. And no, that's not it. I want it just as an individual thing. I thought I saw it. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Okay. So this I'm going to take and I'm going to drop on top of this for the back cover. Okay, yeah, I think we're going to, oops. I think I'm going to be okay. All right. Okay, so now the question is, what can we do to like cover up the bits that are showing of what's underneath it, you know? And what we can do is we can look for, no, we don't have a little, I might grab this. I might grab this pink sparkle and just see if it'll work. No, it's not going to work because this is somewhat transparent. So what we need to do is we are going to actually have to cover up the lady underneath, but that's fine. That's fine. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to put that underneath, get it out of the way. And then I know this is going to come as a shock. We're going to just use the same tool that we used before and layer via copy. We're just going to cover. Cover her up. Okay, So this, we're not going to merge. We're going to merge them together, but we're going to not merge them. Okay. So what this is going to enable us to do is I can print this. And so let me get a print sheet together. All right. So my sheets that I print on are 13 by 19. So I'm going to say, okay. And then, all right. Now this is the correct size, okay? So I'm just gonna drag, okay. I need to pull my print sheet to the top. What we'll do is we'll print the front and back cover. We'll see how much space they take up and whether or not we can print okay. So then what I do, okay. All right, take this over there and rotate this layer. And it's clear to me that I'm not going to get anything else on this sheet but these two. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a gray box around them. And this is just to make it easier for me to cut them. That's why I do this. So this gray box, when something is like a light pink like this, sometimes it can be hard for me to see exactly where the edge is, where to put my razor between light pink and white. And so I put these gray boxes around them so that it's just easier for me to see. That's the only reason. It's not like functional or graphic designery in any way. So I'm going to go ahead and print this because it's basically filling the page. And then while it's printing, what we can do is we can pick what we want for the liner paper. Okay. And my leg is asleep. You know what's amazing is walking with an asleep leg. That's the best. That's the best. Now we may not get as far as like punching everything with the O wire maker machine thing. Because I'm only going to go till 5 o'clock, but my time, which is just on the hour. But if I can get the cardboard wrapped, I'll show you some of my best tips and tricks for wrapping cardboard. For those of you making your own journals, it might be helpful. Exactly, Jenny. Just trying to walk when your leg is asleep, just pretending you know that you're hitting the ground. But are you? You could be walking in the air. You have no idea. No clue. You don't know. All right. So what did we decide for the liner? Oh, this is the liner, right? This one? Do we think it's this one? Or do we think it's this one? So is it Books with Fairy Lights or I Love Books? I feel like I Love Books, but maybe that's just me. You let me know. You let me know. The heart one, yeah, I think that's our winner. I think the heart one is our winner. Yeah. So we are just going to use the pattern its own ability to be duplicated because, like I said, this designer does seamless patterns. I can just get it to the size that I need by just duplicating it a bunch. All right. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to crop it down to, for the inside, okay, the inside, you want it to be 1/8 of an inch smaller all the way around than your outside. So like if your cover is 5.5 by 8.5, then you want it to be 5 3/8 by 8 3/8, okay? But that's like annoying to do in Photoshop. So what I do is I just make it the same size as the cover, and I remove that 1/8 of an inch with my paper trimmer. So what I'm going to do is, I know I'm at 5 3/4 by 9, so I'm going to make a crop window that's 5 3/4 by 9. Okay. And then once I see my 5 3/4 by 9 crop window, okay, I can say where do I like the pattern? Like, do I want a book in the center? Do I want a heart in the center? Do I want I love in the center? I think this right here looks good. Okay. All right, so now we need to print 2 of these, one for the front and one for the back. Oops. And they will go on this 13 by 19 sheet as well. And I think if I can get them side by side, that'll be good. Oh, that sheet's at the bottom. Hold on a second, hold on. All right. Now for this, I'm just going to use a scrap to print on. And so I always put everything at the top when I'm doing scraps. That way I don't have to know the size of my scrap, because the printer will just start, my printer prints from the top, and I know that about my printer, so I can just do that. All right, so I'm gonna print 2 of these, and I'm gonna put that gray box around them. And this is just because my eyesight is really bad. That's the only reason. Again, you know, I don't have, like, it's something that just helps me. It's not a necessary step in making a journal. All right, so let's go ahead and print this out, because this is it. This is all we need to print in order to be done. Okay, so looks like I'm taking up about half the page, so I may just use a fresh one just so I don't have to worry about it not being the right size. Like if it's less than half the page, I feel confident because I only save scraps where I have more than half the page, but when it's like about half the page, I'm less confident. All right. All right, let us switch over to the craft desk and see a little crafty crafting. Oakley dokley. Exactly, exactly. Seamless designs are magic. They are magic. Okay. So now I'm going to cut this. And Jack, for yours, because you're repurposing those notebooks, this might actually be helpful if you want to wrap them in a different paper than what they're already wrapped in. All right, I'm going to get a piece of chipboard. And cut my pieces down to size. While I'm at it. Or are you going to keep them as they were for the like vintage, recycled, upcycled vibes? Because both are excellent. Okay. Now, I'm gonna like do some stuff and then I'm gonna tell you like the way that that would be. I'm gonna do some stuff because it's faster on camera, and then I'll like say what I would do if I was not on camera and I had more time. Because sometimes you do things on camera for like speed, you know. And one of the things is I'm going to use tape to put these book covers together, but I don't recommend using tape to put book covers together. I recommend using glue. And the glue I like is, I do use PVA, but I also have this other glue, PPA, which I prefer. Now, this is Perfect Paper Adhesive from US Art Quest, and it's in the matte. It comes in matte and it comes in gloss. The matte doesn't make a shiny patch if it gets where you don't want it, which is why I strongly recommend this glue, because if you've ever worked with glue, any glue that doesn't dry matte, okay, any book that doesn't dry matte, or any glue that doesn't dry matte is like the bane of your existence, because it makes these shiny spots where it leaks out. So this, but what Perfect Paper Adhesive is it's acrylic. And what it does is it makes a sheet of acrylic in between two things, and it laminates them together so they become one. And when you wrap chipboard in paper with this, it gets this beautiful soft texture. It's so wonderful. So this is a strong recommend. Apply it with a paintbrush, and then, because it needs to be a solid sheet, because it's acrylic, it needs to be a sheet of acrylic in between this and the chipboard. So you would cover this completely with this. And now watch me do it with tape. After I just told you what I recommend and why. Because tape Doesn't need to dry. That's it. Tell us about the Player's Handbook. Is that a new hockey romance? I love it. I call it the pizza cutter. Yes, do as I say, not as I do, is a key lesson from Bad Crafts with Ren. Oh, it's the D&D Player's Handbook. Ah ha ha. That's so funny. Cleric, Monk, and Ranger. I play Rangers sometimes. If I'm going for like a woodsy archery type of rogue. Oh yeah, Paladin is a good one for you. Especially if you could take an oath to like, I could see you taking an oath to like a god that's like the god of war or god of revenge or something like that, you know? Okay. Because I used tape, that would be so fun to do a D&D stream and pick the character. Now, one thing that I normally would do, and the only reason I didn't do it this time is because I forgot, that's literally the only reason, is I do like to draw a line an inch in on one long side and one short side to make a corner to put this so I know it'll be centered. But I'm just going to eyeball it. And my eyeballing skills are legendary. If you were here the day that I made the proof of concept for the Leduc, then you saw my legendary eyeballing skills. So, all right. Now, I am going to use a tool called the Perfect Trim Tool. That's what this green thing is on my desk. To cut my corners for my miter. Okay? You do not need a tool like this. You just need something about 1/8 of an inch thick with a straight edge. Because if you just want about 1/8 of an inch between where you cut and where you cut. So if you just take it and put it on the corner like this, any acrylic ruler or piece of acrylic you have, you could cut along this line and you would get the same effect as what I'm about to do. So you don't need this specific tool. This specific tool is doing it down to the the 3rd decimal point of an inch. And it's, you know, it's really not necessary. All right, prepare for more satisfying pizza cutter action. Okay. But when you're mitering, we're making a reading journal, Erin. But like just with the grid paper. So just almost like a Bujo style, so you could do whatever, make your own pages. But we have made it reading, we have styled it reading notebook. So we've got, I'm reading, this is the back cover. All right, so now that I've done, and then here's our front cover, just one more chapter. Okay, now, Where is my bone folder? Here it is. Bone folder. Get on my desk. Okay. Now, when you're wrapping a cover like this, okay, there's a few places where you want to get a nice crisp crease. And one of them is on this chipboard edge right here. And so what I like to do is I like to get my bone folder and put it underneath and run it along this edge so that it's just really, really nice and crisp. And then I run it up the side, and then I run it along the other edge of the chipboard, and you can see how it's kind of like now wrapped around. Once it's wrapped around, I can just press it and go like this. And then it's done. And this is the critical part, okay? The reason we left that 1/8 of an inch is because we want to cover our chipboard corners so that no chipboard is showing, only our pink paper. So I take the bone folder, I put it up against the edge, I just fold it over, and then I rock it in to wrap that little extra bit of paper. And it's pink on white, so it's going to be kind of hard to see. But you can see I have a tiny little fold over the edge of the chipboard. This is going to give you a real professional look. It's a small step, but it makes a huge difference in the finished product. So if you want to make your own chipboard covers, that's probably my biggest tip. Is to rock these corners. Okay, so now you can see my corner is pink perfection. There's not a drop, scrap, hint of that chipboard showing. It's like it's not there. That's what you want. And that's what that little tiny tuck does. Like it's a very small step, but it's very nice. All right. Okay, so now that's done. This one, let me mark my corners. But yeah, I definitely think a D&D stream would be amazing. The ladybug is back. Right here. All right, so this is going to give me a corner to do my my stuff with. By the way, tape is not like, there's nothing wrong with using tape. It'll last you for the lifetime of the reading journal. You know what I mean? It's just, it'll be nicer if you use the glue, and glue is cheaper in the long run than buying tape all the time. Last night when I was working up here, Kitty was just very gently sniffing the ladybug and sitting next to it and not bothering it at all, which I think was really cute, because that could have been way less cute. She could have just eaten it. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know if I know where my, I know where my O wire binding machine is. What I don't know is necessarily where my O wires are. So that is why we may not get beyond the wrapping of the chipboard. Because I may have to order some O wire. Yeah, she's such a sweetie sometimes. Okay. So now we just have to do those same steps that I just showed you. You trying to fly away? Did it not go well? What happened? Why is your wing sticking out of your butt? You okay, bud? You can see it does not take a very long time to make a cover once you kind of know the technique, you know? Oh. No big deal. All right, so the covers, the front and back covers are done. So we've got just one more chapter. Shh, I'm reading. All right, so now let me see if I see an O wire. I'm gonna take the microphone with me when I leave the room. I may get garbly, but I'm just gonna quickly look for some O wire and see if I can find some. And if I can, we'll make the whole cover. And if I can't, we'll probably just pause here because it's 5 o'clock. All right, if I was an O wire, where would I be? All right, I did not find any O wire, at least not quickly and easily. So I think, but basically It's gonna look like this, front cover, back cover, and then this is an O wire, in case you are wondering what that is. Let me show you. This is an O wire, this double coil with the square holes. I have the machine that punches these square holes and bends these wires around them. So it's essentially going to look like this. That's what our book will look like. Okay? When we're done. And then the inside pages just finished printing. So these will be the liners on the inside. So when you open it, this will be what you see. And then for the paper, we'll just use the grid, and that way it's easily customized. So we'll just go ahead and use this grid, but we won't do all that for now. So the next question I have for y'all, as you know, I'm trying to complete my totally arbitrary goal that doesn't matter at all if I fail, of going live 26 times in 2025 on this channel. So we have quite a few more things coming up. So let us see if, what I'll do is I'll order some spiral binding. Hey bud, are you still okay? All right, you're fine. Okay, so I'm gonna order some spiral binding and we'll finish this notebook. Well, I'll look harder for the spiral binding, and then if I can't find any, I'll order some. But we've got this. I have the other notebooks that we can just make a bunch of now as well. And then maybe like 70 to 98. What about 80, 89? I wonder if that would be good, because if they don't see that 9, maybe they'll feel better. You know, like psychologically. Yeah, I know I've got some O wires somewhere. I know I do. The question is just, can I find it? So I'll look harder, and then we can finish it up. The thing is, you can't I'm sitting here like, maybe I'll just take this off, but I actually already know you can't repurpose O wire. It's not rebindable. So, you know, that is what it is. But yeah, we're going to make more of the stapled books and all that kind of stuff too. So there's going to be a lot of that, but just vibing and crafting and vibing. So that's all coming up. Let me switch back to the camera. All right. Sorry, I had to get the camera's attention before I could switch. Hello. Okay, I'm back. All right, so yeah, we're all anxiously awaiting Aaron's D&D stream. Cleric, Monk, and Ranger all could be good, but I do think a Paladin that has sworn vengeance is the correct way to go. But yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Jenny's BG3 character is a ranger named Juniper. That's so cute. I love it. Yeah, that's what we need. So yeah, so the range in the store is 70 to 98. I don't know. I feel good about 89. I'm going to stick with 89. You know, like, there's a reason everything's $19.95 and not $20, okay? There's a reason. You know, they still do it even though everyone knows why they do it, because it probably still works. It probably still works. So, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure I've got a wire somewhere. It's just a matter of finding it. So, okay. Thank you for sauntering with me, friends. We did so amazing. I feel so good about my progress. I'm glad you feel good about your progress. I know Rose read 40 pages. Jack's working on curriculums, doing bills, updating spreadsheets, like crazy productivity, crazy productivity. So thank you so much for joining me. We will be, probably the next stream will be Silent Hill F tomorrow night, because we do not have Barb and Wilfred because of book club at the library. So Silent Hill F tomorrow night, I think. More of that. We'll see how we do. And then I don't know where we'll go from there. Who knows? It's a mystery. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your afternoon, evening, or day. Please stay tuned for more gentle productivity sauntering and more bad crafts and more being bad at horror games. And I'll see you next time. Bye.